Hello trainers, Professor Palm here, and welcome back to the spooky season. I hope that you're enjoying October. I'm definitely counting down the days till Halloween. However, when I think of the spooky season and you hear it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm guessing that the first thing that might come to your mind might be ghost-type Pokemon? Well, of course it should be. Ghost-type Pokemon are very spooky. But another thing that I usually think of that comes to my mind are dark-type Pokemon. After all, sometimes the spookiest stuff happens at night. And back when dark-type Pokemon were introduced, they could only be found at night. While both dark-type and ghost-type are pretty scary Pokemon, I think that there was a typing that was even scarier when it was first introduced. And I still think is. The Psychic typing. If you think about it, in Gen 1, Psychic was only weak to Bug-type moves, and there was only one move that did damage, being Leech Life. And very few people actually kept Bug-type Pokemon, as they were not the strongest. Also, if you think about it, two of the strongest Pokemon in the game were Psychic-type, being both Mew and Mewtwo. They had power unlike any other. And while we had many other Psychic-type Pokemon, they really were a force to be reckoned with, especially with the power of mind over muscle. While all 19 typings we have are rather unique, the Psychic typing has always been a standout in my opinion. Maybe it's just because that a lot of the Psychic power comes from here. Also, if you think about it, Psychic is the only typing to have a trainer class as well as have an entire move named after it. There really aren't many other Pokemon or even other typings that are like it. Also, what makes them really impressive is the fact that they also have very high IQ. Well, then again, it does come with a lot of mental power. With all that power that Psychic has, really makes your head spin. Wow, it's crazy to think that all their power comes from up here. Really does make your brain hurt. Now, when I think of Psychic-type Pokemon, you know what? Actually, my brain does hurt. Ow! Ow! Ugh. It's like my brain wants to climb out of my skull. Ah! Hello, trainers. I would like your dreams. Your delicious, sweet dreams. Oh, you don't hand them to us? Maybe I'll make it easier. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Oh, well, how about we make this even easier for you? Go to sleep. Go to sleep. That's right. I'll use my pendulum, and I'll use my hands. Give us your dreams. We need sustenance. What happened? Oh my gosh! Hypno? Drowsy? How did you two get here? Puny human, we have taken over your body to make sure these humans hand us your dream. I'm sorry about that, trainers. Well, looks like we really are in the spooky season. We have two Dream Snatchers here with us today. Keep a Dark-type Pokemon or a Ghost-type with you. Do not look them in the eyes. Being controlled by my mind by both these Psychic-type Pokemon brings back those terrible memories. I remember now why I'm so scared of Psychic-type Pokemon. They have powerful minds and can take control of anyone and make them their own personal puppet. Do not do that again to me, either of you. I refuse. I just hope that you're very careful around Psychic-type Pokemon. As I said before, it's mind over muscle. And sometimes the strongest of minds can win any fight. But I've gotta say, what makes these Pokemon so creepy out of so many other Psychic types is the fact that not only do they eat your dreams, they can go inside your dreams. Also, as I'm sure some of you are aware, one of these Pokemon has kidnapped children, already making it a very scary creature to be around. Hypno and Drowsy can be a very scary bunch. There's something pretty cool about these two. It's the fact that very few Pokemon know sleep better than either Hypno or Drowsy. They really do know how to make anything go to sleep very quickly. So yeah, even if these Pokemon can be a little creepy, they at least have some good sides to them. Considering the fact that my mind just got controlled a few times, I think it's a great idea to talk about this line. It is terrifying. You have no idea what it's like to be a puppet by these Pokemon. Honestly, Psychic-type Pokemon have so many awesome things going for them. So yeah, let's talk on both Drowzee and Hypno. Let's find out what makes these Pokemon such terrifying hypnotists. But before we begin, a very special thanks and shout out goes to artist Techronova for my shirt. Today's Within shirt that I'm wearing is called the DNA Within. Since we're talking about Gen 1 Psychic-type Pokemon, what's a better shirt to wear than this one? If you really like these shirts that I wear in my videos, you can buy them on Techronova's Etsy shop. I have a link to it in the description below, so please check her out and maybe buy a shirt. You'll look amazing in these. I hope that you stay wide awake, trainers. You really do not want Hypno or Drowzee eating your dream or going inside. They can make it a horrifying nightmare. So, let's talk all about these Dream Walkers. Not again! Oh! Yes! We're gonna talk all about both Hypno and I. So, let's begin with me, the Dream Walker itself, Drowzee! Drowzee the Hypnosis Pokemon is based on tapirs, specifically the Malaysian tapir because of its colors. However, what Drowzee is most based off of is Bakus, which were creatures of Japanese mythology who would eat the bad dreams of sleeping people. If you wish to find this dream-eating Pokemon in the wild, you can find Drowzee living within grasslands and savannas, as they enjoy warm places. And also, these areas are easy to find humans and Pokemon alike who like to take long naps in the grass. Drowzee's long nose is not only its significant feature, but it's also unlike any other. Not only does it have a supreme sense of smell, but it can even smell dreams, and it can also tell through the smells of what you're dreaming about. Unlike most other Pokemon who need to eat food, Drowzee can survive on just a diet of dreams. Since Drowzee is a skilled hypnotist, it actually uses misdirection to put its foes down. While Drowzee moves its hands, it uses this as a distraction, so it uses its psychic powers to infiltrate the mind of both humans and Pokemon alike to put them asleep. They can easily comb through the human brain and put them down in less than 30 seconds. Drowzee can easily take control of the mind and turn a human or Pokemon into its mindless puppet. Sometimes, when under its hypnotism, Drowzee will force its victim to speak for it as well as do other actions it chooses not to do. Drowzee's hypnotism is very strong against the brain. Sometimes they can even wipe away memories or even a full day of your life from it. If you can't remember what happened a day prior or such, it's highly possible that Drowzee took control and erased your mind of that day. When Drowzee finds someone sleeping, it'll stand over them and devour their dream. Drowzee prefers good dreams that Cresselia makes, as the better ones have a more delicious taste to it. The bad dreams are another story. If Drowzee eats a bad dream or nightmare, it'll get sick very quickly. According to some studies, for Drowzee, bad dreams give off a horrible sour taste when consumed. It'll even weaken their psychic powers temporarily after eating a bad dream. Drowzee also has another nickname, the Dream Walker. With its psychic powers, Drowzee can easily enter and exit dreams. It does this for friends when it sees they're having nightmares, so it will go in to give them pleasant dreams. A trainer with the Drowzee will always be ensured good dreams whenever Drowzee dream walks. After eating dreams, Drowzee will wander off, but it may leave you or your Pokemon with itchy noses, as Drowzee eats your dreams with its psychic powers by forcing it out your nostrils. If you think you had a dream, but you cannot remember what it was, most of the time it's because Drowzee was the one that probably ate it. While Drowzee eats a lot of dreams, it rarely eats the dreams of adults, as it finds children's are much tastier. This is because children have more imagination and fun-filled thoughts than adults do when it comes to dreams. Despite being around children and babies as well as consuming their dreams, Drowzee means no harm. If you had a good dream and you want to remember what happened, Drowzee can easily recreate the dreams it's consumed and put them on full display. However, this can also happen with nightmares, so you might want to be very careful when you ask Drowzee to do this. Drowsy is already a pretty scary hypnotist, as it can not only easily bend your mind, but can also put you to sleep and eat your dreams. Already, this Pokemon is making sleep very scary. But if you want to see what a walking nightmare can be, let's amp up the psychic powers, and let's evolve Drowsy into Hypno. Look away, trainers! Hypno is trying to make your eyes feel heavy, and with its psychic powers of sleep, this will be a very long one you're out for. Hypno, the Hypnosis Pokemon, is based on the Proboscis monkey because of its long nose. They also draw inspiration from hypnotists because of the pendulum device that they carry. However, Hypno is mostly based off of Bakus, which were creatures of Japanese mythology who would eat bad dreams of sleeping people. For the habitat of this dream hypnotist, you can find Hypno living near forests as well as grasslands. They like places that are darker and that are much easier to find other people and Pokemon that will easily go down to their hypnosis. Hypno also have a gender difference, and it's very easy to spot. If you look carefully at their white manes, the female Hypno have longer collared fur than males. Hypno's big nose is pretty hard to miss, and similar to its previous evolution Drowsy, Hypno's nose has an impressive sense of smell. Not only can Hypno smell lots of things, but it can even smell dreams through its nostrils. It also can smell whether or not these dreams are good or bad, and it also has the ability to smell whether a person or Pokemon is about to go to sleep. Hypno carries around a treasured pendulum-like device, in which it never lets out of its sight and never puts down or lets go of. Hypno swings this at a steady rhythm to hypnotize all that around it. And it goes without saying, but Hypno is a pretty dangerous Pokemon when it uses its pendulum. According to a few Pokedex entries, there was once an incident in which Hypno took away a child it hypnotized. While many Hypno can be considered very dangerous, there are some that are very helpful, especially in hospitals. Some Hypno assist doctors with their patients who cannot sleep in hospitals in the Alola region. And because they're able to help anyone go to sleep easily, they have the nickname in Alola, the Sleep Savior. You better look away when Hypno swings its pendulum, because the longer it swings the device, the longer its effects of hypnosis will last. Just seeing its swinging pendulum can induce sleep to anyone in a matter of 3 seconds. Even someone who just woke up and looks at the pendulum will be back to sleep. When not battling, Hypno takes very good care of its pendulum by polishing it constantly. This pendulum is made out of Hypno's psychic powers. If it breaks, Hypno will make another one very quickly, as it hates being without its pendulum device. While both Hypno and Drowsy are very similar, as they enjoy putting others to sleep and feasting on the dreams, Hypno is completely different from Drowsy, as Hypno will eat the dreams of anyone, regardless of the age. While Hypno prefers to eat sweet dreams, nightmares don't affect it in any way like it did when it was a Drowsy. On a really creepy note, Hypno can also use its psychic powers to enter and exit dreams, giving this Pokemon the exact same nickname as Drowsy, the Dream Walker. If Hypno locks eyes with you, then you're in trouble. Just 1 second of eye contact and Hypno can take control of you by combing through your mind. Hypno uses this to its advantage, using humans to speak for it, or even other Pokemon to battle for it as its mindless puppet. Similar to both Zorua and Zoroark, Hypno has the power of illusion. However, since it can read minds, it can also use its psychic powers to bring your greatest fears out as an illusion. It also has the power of illusion to make itself invisible, or even look human. Drowsy and Hypno have been around for a very long time, as they were a part of the original 151 Pokemon that we met in Kanto, and were some of the very first pure Psychic-type Pokemon. With over 1,000 different Pokemon, they each have some cool things to talk on, so here's some fun facts and tidbits about Drowsy and Hypno. According to some recent studies, Drowsy is believed to have a common ancestor with both Munna and Musharna. However, the link between them has yet to be found. Hypno is the signature Pokemon of Aether Branch Chief Faba, as in all of his battles, it's his strongest Pokemon. Kinda crazy to think that it took until Gen 7 for someone to finally use Hypno as an ace. For abilities, Hypno and Drowsy can have two possible ones. The first one being Insomnia, which prevents either of them from falling asleep. Or, for their secondary ability, they can have Forewarn. When entering a battle, Drowzee and Hypno can tell one of the moves that their foe has. And, for those who like hidden abilities, use the ability patch and you'll unlock Inner Focus, which prevents both Hypno and Drowzee from flinching. At the time of Gen 1, unlike every other basic stage pure Psychic type Pokemon, Drowzee was the only one not to have a tail, as all the others did. Hypno is the first Pokemon to actually have a distinctive hand, as in all the artwork and all the sprites we've had have always shown Hypno using its left hand. It's possible that every Hypno we know is left-handed, but that's up to debate. As seen in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, and Explorers of Darkness, Drowzee has the power to send other Pokemon and possibly other people into dreams. According to its Pokedex entry in Ultra Sun, Komala is Hypno's main target, as it enjoys feasting on the dreams, and since Komala is almost always asleep, Hypno has an endless supply of dreams it can feed on. And despite several Pokedex entries stating that Drowzee and Hypno enjoy eating dreams, neither of them can learn the move Dream Eater through level up. The only exception is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee where they could. However, both Drowzee and Hypno can learn the move Dream Eater through TM. Both are Dreamwalkers. Drowzee and Hypno sure know how to put any Pokemon to sleep with their strong hypnosis. However, almost all Pokemon have a weakness, and there are some Pokemon who have a typing that are feared, as not all the tricks from these hypnosis work. With Drowzee and Hypno's typing of pure Psychic, both of them have their fears come to life when they go into battle, as Drowzee and Hypno are weak to moves that are Ghost type, Bug type, and Dark type. However, Dark type acts as a double whammy, as the Psychic type attacks from Drowzee and Hypno will do no damage, as Dark typing blocks out their Psychic powers. It's funny to think that the three weaknesses of Drowzee and Hypno are just common fears, being the Dark, Ghosts, and Bug. Despite being very feared, they have their own fears too. But I think it's time that we use Psycho Shift and see what makes Hypno and Drowzee so scary. Seeing that they're both Psychic type, they get a good bonus with Stab Psychic type moves that are super effective on Pokemon who are Poison type and Fighting type. While it may only be two strengths they have, they can easily turn the tables on many Pokemon, putting them to sleep and fighting them when they're down. I guess that when both Drowzee and Hypno go into battle, they become walking nightmares. Who would have guessed that Psychic-type Pokemon can be so scary? Well, Drowzee and Hypno have proved it with their powers, not just of Dreamwalking or Illusion, but with their power of strong hypnosis. It's easy to get into one's mind, as it's all about misdirection. They may not use their powers to fly or do tricks, but their knowledge of dreams and the brain is pretty terrifying, considering that they can easily take control of you and make you a mindless puppet. I will say, the idea of eating dreams and going into them is probably one of the most creepiest things ever. While both Hypno and Drowzee eat dreams, it does kind of make you wonder, what do they taste like? And also, how can they be good for their system? I've always wondered what they get from it. But walking into one's dream is pretty scary, as you have no idea what you could walk into. Sometimes it could be a good and pleasant dream, and sometimes our minds can come up with the scariest nightmare scenarios. I think Drowzee and Hypno just might be the bravest Pokemon ever, as they've walked into some truly terrifying nightmares and lived to tell the tale. While Hypno and Drowzee can be very creepy, a positive thing about them is that they mean no harm, and sometimes they can easily help ones who need sleep, especially if they really need it. They can do their very best to ensure that you'll have good dreams instead of bad ones. I guess you could call them the Dream Team. While Drowzee and Hypno's psychic powers can be very scary, they can also be very helpful, as very few Pokemon understand sleep better than this Dream Team. When it comes to psychic types, it's always mind over muscle, and that's the case with both Hypno and Drowzee. These Pokemon know how to get in your mind very easily with their psychic powers. They know your darkest fears and even how to stop you in your tracks, all thanks to their power of hypnosis. With just a flick of their wrists, you'll be down. That's pretty creepy. All I can say to you is that you better be careful and don't make any eye contact with either Drowsy or Hypno, or you'll fall asleep and lose your mind to their power of horrifying hypnosis. I swear, if you try to possess me one more time, I'm gonna send out my Zoroark and I'm gonna have it take both of you down. Oh, hello again, trainers. I'm so sorry. While you were gone, I was possessed again by both of these two troublemakers. So I think they learned the lesson as I have my Zoroark ready to go. But I think that we should end this. However, before we do, I just have a few questions for you. We sure have been introduced to a lot of Psychic-type Pokemon over the years. Also, every typing has been paired up with Psychic. Who's your favorite Psychic-type Pokemon, your favorite Psychic-type move, as well as what's the best typing that's been paired up with Psychic? When it comes to both Drowsy and Hypno, do you think that they're unfortunately misunderstood, very similar to Darkrai? Or are these Pokemon just too creepy for you and you find them terrifying to be around? Do you think that Psychic-type Pokemon are just as scary as Ghost-type as well as Dark-type? Or do you think that Psychic-type are not that scary compared to all of them? But if there was a typing that you dread the most, which one is it? I think a lot of us already know that Hypno has one of the creepiest Pokedex entries ever. However, there are so many other Pokedex entries out there that you can read. Who do you think has one of the most violent ones, creepiest ones, or even the scariest ones ever? And since we talked a lot about dreams today, I'm very curious to know, what kind of dreams do you have, trainers? Dreams that you want to achieve, and that you hope that Drowsy and Hypno do not eat. Well, trainers, I have a little Halloween hunt just for you. My Duskull was on the loose and just enjoyed popping in and out of the video. Did you catch it in a few parts of the video? If you did, let me know and put in the timestamp so I know that you caught it. I'm glad that I haven't gotten my mind controlled once again. But if you liked what you saw, then please leave a like. If you have any questions, you want to answer any of the questions that I just threw at you, you have a request for a video that I should do, you have an idea of a Pokemon that I should cover or something, or you have an idea that you want turned into a video, then please comment. And as always, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, smash the subscribe button. As a Pokemon professor, it's my job to teach trainers like all of you out there. So please share my videos. And I hope that you're enjoying the spooky season. Trust me, it's gonna get even spookier as we go along. I hope that you're ready to raise the fear factor. Thanks for watching, trainers. Palm out.